tomorrow, about this time tomorrow, you will be able to buy a whole bushel of fine flour for about half of one of those coins. By this time tomorrow, you'll be able to buy 2 bushels of flour for one of these, as opposed to 40 of them for a donkey's head. And when he said that to the king, there was one of his advisors with him, apparently, when this was taking place. And the advisor kind of guy said, there's no way. Even if God right now were to open up the windows of heaven and the showers would come, by the time we plant the seed and it comes and it grows and it goes to the harvest, there's just no way. It can't happen. A whole big old sack of flour for, not tomorrow. Elisha then said to the guy, well, you will see it, but you won't eat any of it. Scene changes. Back at the city of Samaria, there were 4 lepers sitting right at the gate area, the entrance of the city, sitting at the gate area, 4 lepers. The sun was about ready to go down. One of them said to the others, if we go inside the city, we die. The sun's getting ready to go down. They're getting ready to shut the gates. What do we do for the night? Well, man, if we go in the city, we know we're going to die in there. There's nothing to eat. We're lepers. We're begging for something. They're not going to give us anything. If we go in the city, we're going to die. If we stay right here outside the city at the gate, we're going to die. Why don't we just go give ourselves up to the Syrians? Maybe they'll give us a morsel of food. So they all agreed, yeah. They got together and they started walking toward the camp of the Syrians. Now, typically there would be a sentinel someplace. Somebody, watching, guarding. I'm sure as they went, one of them said, hey, anybody out there, don't shoot, anybody there? And there was no sound. And as they got further along, they kept hollering and no sound. Eventually, they came to the outskirts of the camp of the Assyrian army. And they got to be word a little bit, anybody here? Hello? No word. They looked around, they could see horses and donkeys tied up. They could see tents. They could see all the battle encampment, but not a soul was in sight. And as they, went through and looking around, it dawned on them that, man, they're in the middle of a gold mine. 4 lepers, 1 minute, now have a whole camp. They went into a tent. They found gold and silver. They found extra clothing, which would be super expensive. They found all kinds of food. They ate everything they could. They gorged themselves on the food, got the gold and the silver and the garments, and they went out of the camp someplace in a secret place, and they hid it. Then they went back to the camp, and lo and behold, there's nobody there still. So they found another good tent, got the gold and the silver and the garments out of it, went back out of the town again and found a night that same place and hid all of that, and then it dawned on them. 2 Kings chapter 7, verse number 9 says, then they said one to another, we do not well. This day is a day of good tidings, and we hold our peace. How stupid. The whole camp is right there. People are dying of hunger right back in the city. And they're selfishly just enjoying it all. This isn't right, they said. This is just not right. We do not well. This is a day of good tidings. And we're not telling anybody. So the 4 lepers went back into the city. By then, the gates were closed. They had to call to the porters, and the porters opened the gates and finally got the message to the king. Wake the king up. It's in the middle of the night by now. Wake up the king. We got good news. They told the king about the whole story, and he said, oh, it's a trick. This is a trick. The Syrians are just pretending to be gone. When we come out of the city, they're going to jump on us. So they sent a chariot and some horses, to go find out. And the chariot and the horsemen, they went to the camp of the Syrians. They didn't find anybody, and they went beyond that. And you could see, like, the camp leaving, of the people that, as they were leaving, they were apparently throwing away things that they grabbed in their haste. They were realizing that they don't need it. They were throwing their clothes down and their swords down, and you could see a trail going all the way from the camp there near Samaria all the way down to the Jordan River. What had happened was God just, real simple, he just caused that whole army to hear a noise that sounded like a huge army. The clashing of swords and, army coming toward them. And they all thought, the Assyrians thought that the Israelites had somehow hired a foreign army. Maybe Egypt or the Hittites or somebody hired a foreign army. This mercenary army has come to us, and now they're getting ready to kill us, and they didn't even have time to put together their battle strategy. They just jumped up and ran and left everything. And as they were running towards the Jordan River, they were still throwing things aside because they were scared to death. And all it was, God just made him hear something. And so the king of Israel went out, and they got together all the spoils now of the war. And they brought it back into the city, and sure enough, before the day was over, they were selling flour at the city by the bushel. 2 bushels for one coin. And the man that said, no, it can't happen, the king actually put him over it. So he would, get it, form a line, keep it in order, measure this out. He was there supposed to be in control of all this, but the people were so hungry, they pressed forward in such a way that they actually trampled the man to death. He saw it with his own eyes. He saw what was happening. The famine was broken, but he never actually took one bite of food. And that's the story. That's the story. And it's 12 o'clock. And I've finished my introduction. Now y'all ready for my message?